Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships. I have been very busy this past week, so I haven't been able to play anything consistently in the form of doing a Friday highlight, Saturday upgrade commander build video. So what we're going to do today is the episode 7 for the Naughty or Nice series. So essentially, what is this series about? If you're newer to the channel, basically is... do we see nice pleasantries in the chat and interactions between teammates' behavior, as we've seen a lot of things perhaps so far within the 6 episodes? Do we see a lot of vile commentary? Do we see teamwork, or do we see a mix of both? So that's kind of the aspect of the Naughty or Nice series, as it were. So, starting off here, we are in the Super Ship, or Tier 11, whatever you want to call it, the Jacksonville American Light Cruiser with 1,552mm guns. Very fun cruiser. I quite like playing it, as I like playing the light American cruiser line anyhow. And we are going to start off. You can see in the chat that people are having mixed feelings about Ocean Map, ironically the map that's most historically accurate for naval battle engagements. But of course, you know, there's a lot of things that make Ocean difficult to play, especially for cruiser players or light cruiser players like myself. So we talk with the gearing here and asking if we can have some smoke. If we can move in here to Bravo, we can really put our 17.2 kilometer main battery gun range to work here. And he has agreed to give us the smoke, but he has made it clear that it's just the first one. Okay, keep that in mind, just the first one. So we're going to compliment him. So we're seeing some niceness so far, right? Let's see if that keeps up. We're going to go ahead and move into the smoke, and we're going to start opening up on the team here. Now, I kind of debated about using this video maybe as part of the intermediate or veteran player guide series, and just kind of being the common courtesy of just nicely asking your teammates if they're willing to support you, like in a situation like this, where we can put Jacksonville to work. We can make Bravo, the center of the map, so to speak, a no-go zone, maybe forcing the enemy team to kind of more towards the Alpha and Charlie flanks, if you will. But more than that, we can also use our consumables between our hydro, our radar, defensive AA, and the works to support the gearing here as well, as he's flipping Bravo. So I'm kind of continuing to move up. We're avoiding some torpedoes as well, but unfortunately he's going to clip one right when the enemy Smallin pops up. So we're immediately going to help him out. I think he's wanting requesting support and accidentally spammed the need a fire support. And with our 1,552mm guns, it doesn't take us very long to chew through the small end here, as we're just going to penetrate him everywhere. There should be no non-pins here. Without using IFHE, I think we pin 30mm. Yeah, and we pin 37 with IFHE, but then, like, do you really need a IFHE? Because if you activate the high explosive barrage, or whatever they're calling it these days, if it's not that, then we'll penetrate 42mm. So the gearing gets really close. You can see surprise Jacksonville. And that's the funny thing, because it's not like I wasn't in the smoke screen firing at other ships on the map, but there was a vomit of fire. 152mm guns, you know, pouring out of the smoke screen, and the small one still gets too close for comfort. So a lack of awareness there. We've talked about awareness, right? But it seems like the gearing player is really thankful. So that's the pleasantries with the battle so far. It's like, you know, I will support you. I mean, it's kind of hard because you get players who play selfish, right? And then, you know, like, they don't like... I don't really like dropping smoke for if I'm in a destroyer like gearing for my teammates if they're not going to use it. But if you ask for it, like, yeah, you nicely ask for it, then I'll help you out. So I'm keeping in mind that the gearing player has said only the first one. So I'm still going off of that previous communication we've had in chat. But you can see that most of the ships are more at our further range. And the thing with Ocean, especially in the light cruiser life, is you kind of have to pick when you want to open up, because more of the ships have been pushed onto the flanks. Like, if we push deeper into Bravo, we really need a smoke screen to do that. So that's why I'm kind of like chilling out here and not really thinking I can follow the gearing anymore, since my impression is he doesn't want to share any more smoke with myself. Continuing on here with just how the battle is going, you can see that so far we have the upper hand. We have 2 destroyers on Bravo now. And we're just kind of, I'm getting myself ready and maybe angling towards Charlie, because we're weaker on the Charlie flank. So I'm kind of expecting some pressure to come from that direction, which is kind of why I'm working the way I am. Gearing's getting some torps off. Jaeger's probably going to be spamming lots of torps off here as well. So it's making life difficult for the team at Charlie when they have those torps to deal with. But kind of back to what I was saying just a little bit ago. Oh, well, would you look at that? It seems the gearing wants to share more smoke with us. Maybe having a Jacksonville around isn't so bad. So Tommy is being very nice here, and so we're going to certainly take advantage of that, because I know I can get a lot more work done ultimately if I push back in and use the smoke and get a little bit closer, because it's more difficult to land shells at the more extended range. I don't remember if they actually nerfed the main battery range. I think they nerfed it down to 16.9. They shaved 0.3, so this was just before the nerf, as the Minnesota is going to find some torpedoes there from the looks of things. So it's like, that's kind of why I was debating whether to put this in a naughty or nice or veteran intermediate player guide series, just because it's really nice when you have never not talked with this guy before, but we can actually work together for a common goal and common purpose. And he's just patiently there waiting for me. Maybe he doesn't feel as confident with as smaller hit points, which is fair. Like, when you're kind of this destroyer and you don't have many hit points, you can't really risk running into other destroyers. Like, if you want to try to retain points for your team, right? So then the question becomes with the destroyer, like, how can you be of help and service to your teammates? That's kind of the mental capacity, my mindset I go into when I'm in that same gearing situation, and he seems to have sniffed it out quite well. So luckily for us, Minnesota is soft and chewy, so we're going to go ahead and open back up here on him and utilizing this nice American long smoke screen. So 6,700 salvo. Yeah, 3,000 salvo as he's kind of turning and more angling out now, so probably get some more non-penetrations here. But it's so nice to work with players in World of Warships that that you don't have to set up a division or organize things with clanmates, but that you can kind of have that nice action in randoms battle with a teammate who's willing to work with you. And it's only because of what the gearing is doing here that's helping me be this effective light cruiser, especially on a map like Ocean, because you get this mix of players who are happy, unhappy with Ocean. Some curse it, some are like, I actually like it. Like myself, I quite like it because I find it challenging in a way of kind of trying to approach things differently in the game, if you will. But because we have Alpha and Bravo secured outside, I think there's a submarine running around somewhere to the south. Basically the enemy team has to push into us from sea. So that makes our job as a light cruiser much better. And you always want to be mindful that when you're in something like the Jacksonville with that much fire coming out of it, that as you continue to just eat away at the hit points on an enemy cruiser or battleship, they're likely going to take pot shots at you, even though you're in the smoke screen, which is exactly what the Minnesota did there. So just because you're in a smoke screen doesn't mean you're safe from enemy fire or enemy torpedoes, which is why we have our hydro going here. And we're going to start focusing this Russian cruiser, who's a bit more difficult. I'm keeping in mind he has a 12-kilometer radar, so I want to be angled out, so that's why I'm not just going to keep showing him a flat broadside. But again, and we're going to switch to AP here as well, since he went broadside, to see what can we actually do here as the smoke runs out. Yeah, not a bad salvo there. So yeah, it's really nice. I really want to emphasize, it's really nice when you have random players working together in randoms battles. Or other games as well, game modes. It's just a nice teamwork to achieve a common purpose. It's like you're playing for the win versus maybe playing selfishly for damage, things like that. You know, as well as I'm not sure how much the gearing's getting now, but he has the whole role of the spotting damage as the Trump's going to start trying to drop high explosive airstrikes on us, and yeah, he gets 2 fires there. But we have a lot of our hit points. That's the other big thing that helps with cruiser players. If you as a destroyer can help out your cruiser players, if you can help them maintain more hit points for the end of the game, the last half of the battle, it actually becomes really impactful, because then I'm not so shy to open up open gunboating on the FDG or Stalingrad, but also keeping in mind we don't have a crossfire, so it's much easier for us to open up on ocean despite not having any islands. And I really don't need any more smokes at this point either, because the battle's soon wrapping up here. And because, when you're a light cruiser, when you have these ships in the game, they think you're quite vulnerable. Or, I mean, you are quite vulnerable, right? So you have to be aware that there are going to be ships that possibly, instead of shooting the battleship, they're going to shoot you instead. Also because when you have ships that spam a lot of main battery shells, that's, no one likes just kind of sitting there and kind of taking it, if you will. Get agitated with you like the Minnesota did. So I had really good vibes, really good feelings at the end of this battle because of Tommy in the gearing being an absolute stellar of a guy and helping us out, or late gal, but I'm going to assume guy because Tommy. And he's doing exactly what he should be doing this game. Like, now I think he's actually running. If he didn't die, I think he's the one in Charlie right now. As we went broadside to push back in, so Stalingrad took a shot at us for that. So that was the risk we were aware of, and we want to get rid of that Trump. So yeah, so hats off to Tommy for making this a really impressive game. We're already at 179,000 damage with the first blood and the high caliber, as the Stalingrad is going to go out here. So that's going to bring today's video to a close. So I make sure to tell the gearing comps, and I made sure to compliment him earlier in the battle when he did give us that first smoke screen, because he kept up his end and then a little bit more. So 179,000 damage with 504 shell hits. There was a section of the battle we weren't really opening up there. We were just being mindful and looking for the next opportunity to open up, and the gearing opened that opportunity for us again a second time, with still a lot of enemy ships on the map for the light cruiser life on ocean. We set some fires, we got some kills, 2,202 base XP with Stalingrad's 2,177 base XP. And then our little gearing friend, oh no, we lost him. Must have been the Jaeger, or maybe the Stalingrad picked him up right around the end, I don't remember. And got him out of the cap. Here you can see the layout, so most of the 35,000 damage with fires, some AP, but mostly the high explosive, just because this is a little flamethrower of a boat. Also the potential you have in setting lots of fires and earning more damage from that. And because of super ship life, we only earned 80,000 credits despite having such a good game. And I think we were running green boosters, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure. So it's not the best, most cheap way of playing the game and playing super ships. So I don't really play them too often, to be honest. But that is episode 7 today for the Naughty or Nice series. Shout out to the gearing player, Tommy something. And being absolute bro and helping us out here and clutching the win for our team and having a victory. So if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Until next time, take care.